Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Easy Tarot Lessons. My name is Dusty White. I am your host, the author of Advanced Tarot Secrets and the Easiest Way to Learn the Tarot Ever. Thank you everybody for making those books number one on Amazon. I appreciate that. Now today I want to cover some things that every reader should know. These things are going to sound basic, but bear with me and pay attention to these and work these into your life, because while they don't sound very exotic, this is the difference between people who actually get the big bucks, people who get the good details, and pretty much the rest of the world. And I'm on a personal crusade to end bad readings, to end the slop that it passes for normal in our industry, of untrained readers who grab a book and muddle their way through. This is what I did. I spent 15 years trying to figure this crap out. And I've been very fortunate. I've been doing this for about 40 years now. I've been teaching for 20 years. My students read professionally. I have doctors and lawyers and surgeons and housewives. I mean, I got people from all over the spectrum, both economically and politically and walk of life. So I know how to teach people. I know how to reach inside your head and make you the best reader possible. And that's what these free lessons are for. So suck up all the knowledge. And I do want to tell you that we have something special coming up, so please take notes. I have Ish with me today. You can't really hear her because I'm blabbing so much. Hi Ish, how you doing?
Hey Dusty, I'm good.
Yay, Ish is my one of my favorite students, and she's really come a long way in a short period of time. And without revealing any family secrets, she was kind of a bowl of jello when we first started, and she has made such phenomenal progress that I think she's going to be a real superstar in the future, not just as a reader, but as a world-class intellectual, because she's really, really smart, and she's chasing down all these doctoral degrees, and she doesn't come at this from a sense of fluff and silliness, but this was a whole new world to her, and what she lacked in confidence, she made up for in just dogmatic persistence. So if you can just stay with this, you who are listening right now, you can stay with this. Let us help you. Let us show you how we did it, and use us as examples of what to do and what not to do. We can help you get there with us. We can help you get there very fast. And what I like about having different students on, especially Ish, is we get perspectives that we wouldn't see otherwise. Okay, so quick important announcement. Before we get started today, I want you to stop what you're doing and sign up for our free lessons at easytarotlessons.com. I'm going to repeat that. I know you're getting the podcast, but if you're not signed up for our free lessons, go to easytarotlessons.com, just like it sounds. All we need is your first name and your email. Going to get you much more than the podcasts, and we're going to be doing it every week. Now, we're also starting a new course on the 20th, on March 20th, and you want to get in on this. Now, you can start this course at any time, but if you want to learn live, and you want to learn live from me, and you want to learn cheaper than I've ever taught, ever, and ever will again, this is your last chance. It's $5 a week if you sign up before April 1st. If you sign up after April 1st, it skyrockets to $10 a week. It's still half the cost, or less than half the cost, of anything you pay anywhere else for live local teachings. But over the next 10 months, I'm going to personally take you through every aspect of reading the tarot, from beginner to professional. You're going to have lots and lots of practice. And this is what's important, is we're not going to cram this information down your throat. We're going to take our time and make sure that you understand everything. I'll be there to answer questions. We have live question and answers every week, live training from me every week. Most important, we have step-by-step videos on how to do everything you could ever want to do with the tarot. That's what we're here for. Divination, manifestation, study groups, study buddies. It's all there. And again, You can't beat it. If you're serious about this, you want to sign up for $5 a week. If you missed that deadline, come on in for $10 a week. After April 1st, you're still getting away like a bandit. Now, today I want to, and by the way, go to easytarotlessons.com. You say, oh, how do I do that? Well, if you go to easytarotlessons.com, I will email you and let you know what happens and when it happens and how to get in on this. We're not going to spam you, but make sure you pay attention to that. All right, but I do want to get to the thing today. Today, Ish, I want to talk about how we're going to prepare you for the future and how we're going to prepare everybody else for the future. You are going to read for a lot of people in your life. And if you're not going to read for other people, you're going to be doing a lot of spreads for yourself. But just having a little book, no matter how great the book is, I like to think mine are pretty good. And there's other good books out there, naturally, obviously. But just because you have a book and a deck of cards doesn't mean that you have the awareness and all of the understanding that you're going to need to be able to make the cards sing and dance for you. So I want you to take some notes. This, again, is going to sound really basic, but we're going to get you in and out with some valuable information, and it really comes down to you doing this stuff. I can teach you, I can give it to you on audio, I can give it to you on video, but you got to practice on this. So, the first thing you need to do is you need to develop a relationship with your cards. Now, Ish, let me stop right there, and I think you're young enough in this practice where you can still remember quite clearly how big and scary it was when you had to do it for yourself. It sounded like fun, like anybody could do it. You're smart. You've been to several colleges, degrees coming out your butt. But here you were faced with the dilemma of prognosticating the future, of opening your mouth, and without tangible evidence, you had to make a prediction of what was coming down the road. Do you remember that big scary time not so long ago?
Oh, absolutely. It's been less than a year since I joined you, so it hasn't been that long.
Absolutely, that's what I want. So, tell me about fear.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I think at least for me, it shuts my mental capacity to reach out and get the information. So if you're scared, then suddenly the cards stop talking to you, and suddenly you're trying to logically answer the client's question as opposed to actually give them, the real information.
Now, from somebody who studied neuroscience, not me, of course, but Ish, some crazy brain doctor, and really in real life. So, from somebody who studied how the brain works, to give such a nice, simple explanation as it relates to the tarot, speaking from first-hand experience, I want you to realize that you are not alone and you are not some kind of rocket scientist, unless, of course, you are one of the few rocket scientists I happen to know. I think I know two of them. Well, there's Mike Brown, and then there's this devilishly handsome guy whose name I forgot, but, oh man, I guess I can't say I know him anymore because I forgot his name. The point is that Frank Herbert, the guy who wrote Dune, he said that fear is the mind killer. And I quote him because it's much more eloquent than I could put it. Hell, I just bang at the keyboard and words come out. But this is so true, and exactly what Ish said. In fact, I should just go back and replay what she said since it comes out better than what I'd say anyway. Fear and stress will shut down your mind, and they will make you give your opinion, not use your intuition. Now, God bless us all, Mr. Scrooge, but ain't none of us gets paid for our opinion. We get paid, or people come to us, because we have the ability to open the back of our heads, so to speak, literally, pineal gland and all that stuff. Or pineal is the front, pituitary. bottom, lower back. Again, talk to an actual brain scientist. We have the ability to open the back of our head, and I want you to think of your intuition like a valve, where we can allow information from God, information from the gods, information from the divine. Don't get stuck in the terminology, but however you want to translate that, insert favorite term here. We get information from the collective unconscious, whatever it is out there, you like to call it. It exists. Even if you're atheist, there is information out there. We can open up our awareness, and we can grasp information that is larger than our puny little cerebral cortex can process at any particular moment. We are nothing more than computers, and a lot of times we get crammed with too much information. Too much is trying to process at once, and so smoke starts coming out of our ears and whatnot. It's just like when your computer locks up. Well, with our intuition, we have like wireless or Bluetooth information coming in. It's like, well, how does it come in through the air? If we can't see it, it must be invisible. Therefore, it can't be possibly true. Well, radiation, Bluetooth, wireless signals, television signals, radio waves, gamma, ultraviolet, all that stuff. 100 years ago, none of this existed. That's all science fiction. Matter of fact, for most people, they didn't even know what it was. So what we're talking about with our intuition is receiving information the same way that people have been doing for 5,000 years of recorded history, and even before then, and they didn't know quite how to express it eloquently. So don't try to reinvent the wheel, and don't try to question physics before you do this. Don't go, I have to make sure that I'm not being fooled. I have to make sure that it actually works, and I know scientifically how it's going to work before I allow myself to experience it. We're here to help you experience it and explain to you the processes along the way. Now, if you want to, attend Cornell University and blah, 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 and I specifically pulled out Cornell for a reason. You want to do that and then label it via con Dios. Good for you. But labeling, Kierkegaard, is tantamount to negating. So experience it first and enjoy it and get the results. Now, back to this whole thing about intuition. Your intuition is this large body of information trying to cram into a tiny little valve to enter an even smaller brain and process. The brain will process this information. So our intuition opens and closes. The more relaxed we are, the more our awareness opens up. This is part and parcel of Eastern religion and some of the Western mysticism. It all comes down to your awareness and your intuition. And the tarot is the best tool created so far for helping you develop that. You can actually incorporate the tarot with your meditation. Hence, that's the big craze that's come along since Levi, to find ways to incorporate these images with your meditations and create like a spiritual awareness. Just don't get caught up in the dogma to think that the tarot is a religion. Tarot is nothing more than scraps of paper with ink on them, and hell, it's a card game like poker, bridge. It's actually more like bridge technically. It was created around 1438 in Italy. Then it became popular throughout the world, and in France they really liked using it to tell the future, but that didn't start until about 1790. So it was like 350 years later. It's a little bit of history here. So developing a relationship with your cards means practicing with them. Practicing with them opens up your intuition. The more your intuition comes to play, the more you're answering questions um, rather than just giving your opinion. Now, the more you practice with them and the more you play with them and the more that you do the exercises, and this is why we have exercises in the easiest way to learn the tarot ever and Advanced Tarot Secrets. It's not just a book of meanings. We have actual exercises you have to do. And yes, they're workbooks. You do kind of have to fill out some information. And this is why they're not on Kindle, is because you have to actually write in the book. I don't want you to scribble all over your Kindle and you ruin the screen. So the reason why we do all this is because the only way to develop your ability, to develop your awareness, to develop your intuition is through meditation, is through practice, is through, and what I like about the tarot is it really bridges the gap between Eastern philosophy and Western existence. It's all nice to be enlightened on top of the mountaintop, but try going down in the city and pulling off that crap. It's just not that easy. There's a reason why gurus sit on the mountaintop, because if they had to go down in the city and deal with all the hustle and noise and psychological poo that people are flinging at each other, they'd lose their enlightenment in 5 minutes. So the tarot allows us to bridge that gap, to find that awareness to our greater selves. Ish, in Hinduism, is it called a godhead? Did I get that wrong?
I believe that's right.
That's probably a bastardization term, but it's kind of like I think in Huna it's called your oversoul. It's a higher awareness, but the tarot allows us to stay right here in the real world. It's kind of God, this is such an old reference. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Back in the days when, magicians or Bullwinkle would reach into a hat and pull out a rabbit. It's like, oh my God, how do you do that? And because everybody loves bunnies, especially hawks. Like, lunch. But I just made little kids cry, sorry. Wait, why am I apologizing? That's fun. So, all of this comes down to using our tarot through exercises, through practice, through actual readings, helps develop our intuition even while we're getting the benefit of realizing what's coming forward, what's coming down the road at us. To do this, the first thing we need to do is we need to relax. We need to kick fear to the curb. How do we kick fear to the curb? Well, fear and stress, they're like besties. They usually come from our interaction with our client, even when our client is ourself. Questions naturally arise. Well, how do you know what's going on? And if your client, whether that's yourself or someone outside of you, asks you to do a blind reading, I want you to just follow Nancy Reagan. Just say no. Just say no. Say no. No. You can use as few syllables as you want. No. There's one syllable, 2 letters, hard to get any shorter than that. The reason is that's not the way the tarot works. It's not the way your intuition works. If you happen to be the almighty fakir or guru, who's been doing this 100 years and practicing, and you're really old, then at some point you've developed this amazing ability to just reach into the ether and grab answers. But most of us don't have the time because we're too busy paying rent or having kids or running around with our jobs or trying to have fun. So we want something quick and easy and instant. So to get the best results, we stay away from blind readings. We stay away from situations that are hyper stressful and then trying to force our intuition to work. Maynard, the lead singer from Tool, had a line in one of his songs about prying open his third eye. You don't pry open anything. You massage it open. It's like a rose. It has to bloom. If you want it to bloom, you massage it, you give it sunshine and love and fertile soil. You get it to open up like a rose. You don't go in there with a crowbar. So fear and stress, not your friends. Um, the way to avoid fear and stress in your practice, in your readings, is know your spread inside and out. Couple of things you're going to want to write down. Always know what you're asking about. Have a question and go after that question. Don't sit there and go, well, I'm just going to pull cards and see what they mean. Ish, bringing you back in here. Why, in your opinion, is it important to have a question versus just letting cards, trying to figure out what cards mean as they come up?
Oh, the same card can mean completely different things given the context.
Yes.
And so if you don't have a question, it's almost impossible to know what the card is saying at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cards are just allegories. We have 78 cards. We have tens of thousands of things that can happen to us on any given day. You can wake up late for work. You can wake up late for work and make it on time. You can wake up late for work, go to McDonald's, get sick, and then miss work. Or you can go to McDonald's and go, wow, this is the best breakfast I ever had, and go and make lots of money and be the most productive person in the world because you went to McDonald's, and now you got a new religion, like, oh, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to McDonald's every day because this is like, their breakfast is the best in the world, and now I work, and my boss is like, what's your secret? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. There's all these different things with tiny little variations that can happen to you. I mean, I can go on forever, just bore everybody to death with it. We only have 78 cards. And if we're afraid to read reversals, like too many people that I know, we've taken 156 possible cards, because reversing it is kind of the same card, but now it's a mirror image, so it's 156. We've taken our pile of 156 cards down to 78. We've cut that in half. So we only have 78 cards, and even if we only had 150, 78, 156, I'll get the math sooner or later. If we only had that many messages to describe the infinite number of things that can happen in one day, much less over a lifetime, while interacting with other people at any given point on any certain at any certain point in space, it'd be impossible. And this is where the skeptics win. This is where the skeptics go, there's no way that 78 cards, can possibly say, oh, okay, Ace of Swords, ooh, I see you're going to have a victory. Ooh, I see you're a man of power and wealth, and because you go and you intimidate people, and therefore they give you everything they want. That's not a reading. It's crap. If we're going to give exact details, your boss is a jerk because he's got a Napoleon complex, and he's secretly afraid of his boss, but wants to leap over him and take the general manager position. But we see that he can't because this other thing is standing in his way. This is just making this up as I go along. We can get that kind of detail and better with our cards only by understanding the cards, only by relaxing and allowing our intuition, allow the voice of God, who's a lot smarter than all of us, to come in and speak through you, kind of like a prophet. That's the whole point of divination. So we don't just pick up cards and become experts right away, but if we want to become experts as quickly as possible, we have to do a certain set of exercises and games. I believe that those exercises and games have been properly presented in the easiest way to learn the tarot ever and Advanced Tarot Secrets. Those books are available on Amazon, anywhere. If you're international, try the Book Depository or bookdepository.com. Free shipping anywhere in the world. There may be other books. There may be other teachers. You're welcome to go explore that. If that doesn't work for you, come back here. The reason why we're giving out free lessons is to show you that all of this is possible, is to introduce you to people who are doing it. People just like you and me. Well, people just like you. I don't know if there's anybody like me. It's probably a good thing. And if If they can do it, you can do it. And we'll help you do it. We're here to teach you to do it. And if you cough up like $5 or $10 a week, we'll make you a Zen master of all this stuff. So first, always relax. There's nothing worse than stress or fear. Again, this is often caused by interaction with your client. Stress and fear clamp down on your skull like a vice, and they squeeze the confidence out of you. They are not your friend. When you're encountering stress or fear, put down your cards, stand up, shake it off, do a little dance, walk around, wash your hands, go to the bathroom. If you can't do any of that, just breathe and relax, but set in your mind, and this is the most important part. People say breathe and relax. That's nice, but that's just preparatory work. That's to put you in a state where you can say, okay, now in my mind I'm going to say, screw this. I am better than this. I do not need to experience this. Now, this is where we're trying to make logic battle emotion. Emotion always wins. But logic can circumvent emotion by telling it that it can exist in a different area of our awareness. Now, it's like Super Aphrodite's Book of Secrets kind of stuff. But just the simple version is you can tell yourself that it's okay to worry, it's okay to be stressed about something else. Like, yeah, it's okay. Got a big guard dog here. Bark, bark, bark. Don't bark at the mailman. Bark at the burglar. We're just trying to tell our big guard dog of emotions, of stress and fear, that it's okay to feel you about something else. But right now, this isn't the time or the place. Relax. Do that, and that's the first step. The next step is you got to know your spread inside and out. Matter of fact, this should be the number one rule of all readings. The more intimately you know the finer points of your spread, the more details you can get, and the easier those details will come, and therefore the easier it will be to kick fear and stress to the curb. I'm just kind of going a mile in a minute. Ish, is this you're my sounding board? Is this making sense?
Yep, this is definitely making sense.
Yay! Does it work for you?
Yes, definitely works for me, and especially with what you said about fear. It definitely blocks me if I get scared, but it helps if I can realize that getting the information isn't like an active process. It doesn't require thinking on my part. I just have to let it happen. So yes, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you said that, because that's, again, everybody, it should be behind the microphone here. Just letting it happen. It's like going back to the blossoming of a flower. You have to let it happen. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. The reason why we have Miracle Grow and Super Soil and whatnot is to help speed things up. But if you can put yourself in the right state, this is why meditation helps. This is why philosophy helps. This is why greater awareness helps. Even as much as the tarot helps you enhance these things also help you enhance your tarot. But for those of us, it's like, I just bought a book and I just want to read, and I don't have time for any superstitious voodoo nonsense. Your first steps, those of you who are brand new to this, or you don't want to get all foo-foo, I still want to get you guys results. Sit down, relax. I can't tell you how to relax, so I'm not even going to try. There's countless books and video courses, whatever, on how to relax. Go to sleep. There, now you're relaxed. Do your best to relax and allow it to happen. And that sounds counterintuitive at first. How can you allow it to happen? Because you don't know what's happening. You don't know when it will happen. You don't know what it's going to feel like. And I'm here to answer a question, not just like say anything that comes out of my mouth. And that's another thing that we will cover over time in our free lessons, is how to tell the difference between imagination and intuition. But for right now, I want you to just relax. The process is you come up with a question. Matter of fact, I'd like you to start shuffling your cards while you're developing your question. What we're doing is we're randomizing the cards and then actually allowing the gods to put the cards in the right order. We're allowing nature to do its part, because it's not all us. It is a connection between us and the divine. And the cards actually have to be in the right order. The right cards have to come up. And I'll give you a little secret here real quick. Um, Not all of the cards have to be in order. And this may, upon hearing this, you may go, well, that makes sense. But before it's stated, it seems like they should be. If you're doing a 3-card spread, all you need are the top 3 cards to be in order. If you're doing a Celtic Cross or Roundabout, all you need are the 10 or the 12 cards to be in order at the very top. So as you're shuffling, you don't need all of the cards to be in order. You just need the amount of cards to be the right cards for the actual number of cards in your spread. So you're relaxing, you're formulating a question, you're picturing in your mind what it is that you want to know. You're sending that energy into the cards. This is a colloquialism we use. You don't actually send the energy into the cards, just scraps of paper, but it's a mindset that you use. And it's an easy way to communicate the technique. So you're sending your energy into your cards. You're shuffling, overhand shuffle, French cut, there's a riffle shuffle, whatever works for you. Something nice and relaxed. We'll do videos on how to shuffle various techniques. You do all that, and what you're waiting for is that little ding of awareness that says the cards are in the right order. Now again, when I say that, in the back of your mind, you got to go, it's not all the cards, it's just the cards that I need. But it's easier again to say the cards in the right order. You stop shuffling, and without hesitation, blah, 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 you deal them out. Then you take a deep breath, and you go through card by card by card. And we'll talk about all of this in our free lessons. So know your spread inside and out. That will help you circumvent and shoo fear and stress off to the side. Another thing is never give blind readings. Always talk to your clients. Remember that your clients have certain information and you have certain information. We're forming a 3-way discussion between you, your client, and your cards. Now you have to answer for your cards, but it is a 3-way fact-finding mission. Ish, when you're reading for clients, and I know that you've read for other people and they've been very happy about that, tell me what works best for you. Do you like a lot of interaction? Do you like to have them sit down and shut up without me trying to program you or influence you? What has been working for you? What makes people happiest?
I think it works best for me if I have a fair bit of information. I don't like having too much information, or I don't like them telling me a couple of days in advance, because then my brain kicks in and it tries to logically come up with answers. But right before I'm getting ready to pull out cards, when I'm shuffling, I like to have enough information such that I feel grounded in the situation, such that I feel comfortable, that I know the most relevant things about the question. And
Yes.
So, yeah, it takes a certain amount of information just grounded in the question. It can't be out of nowhere. It can't just be, oh, I want to move to this particular part of the world. It has to be a little more of why I want to move or where I want to move to, just enough so I feel comfortable with the question. That makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. We're having a little trouble with Skype, but that's yay, Skype. Don't let that stop you. It's just making a note of it for everybody who's listening. Yes, I understand. Yes. So as Ish said, once again, I bow to her eloquence. Get enough information so that your brain can process what it is that you need to do. Don't ask questions or allow questions like, will I ever fall in love? Will I ever make any money? Will I ever win the lottery? These are questions that are either insincere. These are questions that come from the non-serious mind, and you don't get any value out of doing these type of readings. So I want you to focus, at least until you develop some serious skill with this, focus on questions that are very detailed, that ask specifically about one particular thing, and use your spreads to give you various parts of the answer, because each card will contribute a little bit to that. All right, so a few things and then we'll wrap up here because we're running long. A couple of things I want to throw at you is don't be afraid of reversals. In our next episode, we're going to take a good look at reversals and how it expand your ability to give infinitely more detail. So we'll cover that next. But for right now, I want you to spend hands-on time every week with your cards. Every day if you can. For some of you that may not be possible, but understand that it's the attrition of awareness that comes from not playing with your cards that makes reading so hard. So, much like any physical sport, but so much more intensely, so much more intensely, if we don't spend time with our cards, if we don't keep our intuition expressed, if we don't exercise our psychic muscles, for lack of a better term, it just gets harder and harder. So the more often we do it throughout our daily routine or our weekly routine, the easier it does get. So a lot of it is just practice, and the more you practice, the better you'll get. Not just because it's a matter of repetition, but because this new awareness that you experience, it keeps you at a higher intellectual level. We'll go more and more into this into future classes. Okay, a couple other things. You read best when you read often. This is true for all of us, just so you know. But to get the most out of your readings, again, never use blind spreads. Talk to your clients. Your clients, again, are a three-way conversation between you and your cards. Can't say that enough, because looking at it this way will make your readings far more in-depth and accurate. So never be afraid to ask your client questions, and verify what you say to your client. Interact with them. Don't just talk to them. I think that's pretty much where I want to wrap up. These techniques will make you better reading than 90% of the readers that you ever get a reading from. They don't sound exotic, but they really do work, and they're the bedrock of everything we're going to be teaching you in our free lessons every week. And if you do take the course, $5-10 a week, depending on when you sign up, we will teach you in much greater detail exactly how to use your cards to read the future, to write the future, better than any tarot reader that you've ever met. Because the magic is in you. The cards, they're just tools, like a hammer or a saw. So I hope you listen to this episode one or more times before you move on. It doesn't sound like a great library of secrets, but this is what is here is what most people miss. Again, next week we're going into reversals, then we'll go into court cards, and from there we will greatly expand your abilities. I want you to thank you for being here. Please sign up for the free lessons at easytarotlessons.com. This is the only way that we can help you, is by making sure that you have all the information possible, and then the rest is your practice time. Ish, thank you for letting me talk. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your input.
Thanks for letting us do.
I hope you'll join me next week.
Yep.
Thanks. And I will see you in your lesson. Okay, bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Easy Tarot Lessons. We teach you how to give awesome readings. Dusty White is the author of the best-selling books, The Easiest Way to Learn the Tarot Ever and Advanced Tarot Secrets. If you haven't signed up to get all of our free lessons, please stop what you're doing and hop on over to easytarotlessons.com. Signing up takes all of 30 seconds. Give us your name and email, and we will teach you techniques that most readers never learn over a lifetime. If you are serious about your future, grab a pen and take notes, because class is in session.